Thank you for tuning in to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast, a no judgment zone podcast that covers lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. Even though KC doesn't watch sports, but these are minor details. By the way, he reads tarot cards too. Yes, I really mean it. He reads tarot cards too. And now, the host you've tuned in for, KC Phoenix.
Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. And this is my daily thought. Even though I don't do a thought every day, I have thoughts every day, clearly. But like I mentioned yesterday, I was planning on doing 2 daily thoughts yesterday. And then I got sidetracked when I had noticed the news story about the nun that gambled away the elementary school funds. So I was like, oh, I got to cover that news story. So anyways, here's one of the daily thoughts I was planning on doing yesterday. And I'll just do one today because I have a lot of other plates spinning right now. And it's just a lot of things going on in a good way. So thankful for that. Before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Now, and I'm just getting situated. I should have moved this over earlier, but I didn't. So, yeah, I'm doing it kind of at the last minute here, is what I'm doing. Okay. I hope everyone's doing amazing this morning or this afternoon or evening or whenever you're listening to this. And speaking of listening, thank you to everyone who's been listening again. I noticed that the listenership these past 2 weeks, listenership has been through the roof. So thank you to everyone who's been doing that. I don't know what the play is this weekend. It's up in the air. It hasn't been decided yet. So last weekend I didn't even do anything, which was kind of amazing that the listenership did so well. And I didn't really upload anything last weekend. This coming weekend, I have thoughts of things I want to do, but it's just, if only you knew. And there's some things, and when the time is right, I promise I will tell everyone the stuff that's happening, but I usually move in silence because that's just the best way to move. People don't always need to know. Sometimes it's just better to let them see, and then it's like, oh, that's what he was working on, or oh, that's what he did. So yeah, it's that type of thing. But this weekend, the goal is to do something, to have some type of episodes up this weekend. That is the goal. We'll see where it goes and where my energy's at. As for this daily thought, do not get too caught up in the chase. Let's talk about that for a second. Do not get too caught up in the chase. And this can go both ways. Where I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair here. If I can turn it or do something. When I'm talking about the chase, and really mostly, especially with Valentine's Day around the corner too, because Valentine's Day is 5 days away from this recording. Today's the 9th of February. And you have some people who they like to be chased because sometimes it may be a narcissist type thing, and that's not always the case. Some people, there's terms that are terms that are considered in vogue at the time, like narcissist, breadcrumbing, gaslight, all of those things. The heat just came on. But if someone likes to be chased, it doesn't necessarily mean they're a narcissist. It could mean they're a narcissist. It could mean that they have self-esteem issues because they want validation, because that's what validation is. I always tell people, you know, what Drea said on Basketball Wives. Validation is for parking, not people. However, for those who need validation, they want to know that they're still in demand, or that they still got it, or whatever. But for other people, they hold themselves in such high regard that they're like, I'm not just going to say yes to the first thing that comes to me, or I refuse to say yes just because you love bomb me. It's not going to be like, oh, you love bomb me, and then all of a sudden, oh yes, I want to be with you. Yeah, you know, let's start a family. Let's get together. Let's do this. Let's do that. No, and I can understand that. You don't want to just give everything away by a kind gesture or a show of interest. I understand that. The other side to this, the caveat on that, is going back to what I always talk about, extremes. One extreme or another extreme is not good. So if you're taking it to the extreme of this person has to constantly chase after you, this person has to constantly show that they want to be with you, it's not balanced. Everything has to have balance, where you're expecting this person to constantly give and give and give to you, to dedicate their bandwidth to the chase of pursuing you, in hopes that you will one day say yes, or in hopes that you will maintain, or that you will maintain their attention. And there's even situations where there are relationships where someone's already said, yes, I want to be with you. Yes, we're together. And they expect it to be a constant chase even during the relationship. And I feel that, and again, we're all adults, and with these daily thoughts, treat them like tarot card readings. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it's not your story, don't try to make it fit. My opinion, my thought on that is that there's only so much someone can do. We're all human. Everyone has their limit on what they can or what they're willing to do. Eventually, someone may have to take another person at their word. Someone may have to say, you know what? They have done so much. They don't have to do that much for the time being. And I say that because it doesn't mean that where you just come to a complete stop and you never show that interest again. I'm not saying that, because obviously in a marriage or in a relationship, every now and then you would like to receive flowers, or you would like to say, hey, you want to go out to a movie, or hey, you want to do this, or hey, you want to do that, or hey, I was thinking about you, or hey, you know, I made you breakfast. You're up now. I made you breakfast. I made your favorite breakfast, or whatever. Showing some type of appreciation for the individual that you are in a relationship with. Those random things from time to time. But it being a constant thing is where I feel there's an issue. Sometimes we expect too much of people. Now, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, where you have people that value themselves so much, it's just like, I only want to receive the best. I have to receive it this way, so on and so forth. I'm not knocking a healthy ego. If you have been following my podcast, my longtime listeners, my Firebirds, you already know how I feel about egos. Ego is a good thing. A healthy ego is a good thing. However, there has to be balance when it comes to it. Where in going into this, where your ego is being stroked, because that's almost what you're looking for in a way, is where you're looking for your ego to constantly be stroked, to know that, yes, this person wants me. And if they want me, they're going to do the best. They're going to make sure they put their best foot forward at all times, and so on and so forth. And again, there's only but so much people can do. And then you have some people that no matter what they do, it's never going to be good enough. It'll never be good enough. There's a song by Celine Dion. It's called Water from the Moon. And if you ever get a chance, listen to that song. Hold on. Give me a second. Because it's like I have my laptop in front of me. I can look up the lyrics right quick. And I can tell you. Let's see. Celine Dion, Water from the Moon, lyrics. Okay. So it says, I've looked everywhere I can just to find a clue. Oh, to get to you. And make you want me. And I've run circles around the sun chasing after you. Oh, but it's no use. Can't you see that I'm going out of my mind, trying to find a way to get through to you? Oh, you don't know how hard I try, and I try, and I try. What do I got to do? Do I got to get water from the moon? Is that what I got to do to make you love me? Make you love me? Do I got to turn the sand into the sea? Is that what you want from me? I've done everything I can do, but get water from the moon. I've reached high up in the sky, trying to steal the stars. Oh, to win your heart. But even that's not enough. And I've searched every book I know just to find the words. Oh, to touch your world and get some love out of you. I've already given all I can, and I don't know what's left to try. And I try, and I try. What do I gotta do? Do I gotta get water from the moon? Is that what I gotta do to make you love me? Make you love me? Do I gotta turn the sand into the sea? Is that what you want from me? I've done everything I can do but get water from the moon. And it says, love me. How do I make you love me? How do I make you see that I'm going out of my mind? And then it goes back into the chorus of Water from the Moon. But what that song is saying is like, look, I've done everything I can possibly do but bring water from the moon. And clearly there's not water on the moon, at least not that I know of. At least it hasn't been discovered. Look it up on the internet. Doubt there's water on the moon. So those situations is what I'm talking about. Getting too caught up in the chase, where you're going after someone and it's like you've done everything but bring water from the moon. And still, they're not getting the clue. At some point, you're going to have to move on. And vice versa. For those, someone's car is really going through it out there. Or whatever they're driving. But anyways, and vice versa. For those who have someone chasing after them or someone's chasing after you, and they're doing all of this stuff for you, and you're just so caught up in the chase where it's like, oh, this person did this for me. This person did that for me. Oh yeah, they're so amazing, but no, I'm not going to commit yet. They need to do some more because yeah, I want a relationship, but They still haven't done enough yet. They need to do this. They need to do that. They need to show me that they love me. They need to show me that they care about me. And they've done everything for you but bring water from the moon. Do not get too caught up in the chase. Because again, anything that's not balanced, one extreme or another extreme, is not good. In the sense of not doing anything is not good. Doing too much is not good. There's something, you have to have a balance. But if it's at one extreme where you're not doing anything, then eventually one of the parties is going to move on. On the other extreme, if you're doing too much, eventually one of the parties is going to move on. If one party is like, I've done everything but bring water from the moon, you're not taking the clue. You're not, you don't get that I'm into you. Oh, wait a second, that rhymed. Okay, that's a little lyric there. But yeah, that party who has spent all this time pursuing you, they're going to have to move on because they're like, okay, I can take this energy and put it into someone else who appreciates it. And then when they move on, then you're like, oh, wait, why are you leaving? I thought you loved me. Make it make sense. So, yeah, don't get too caught up in the chase of things. And like I said, this is for mostly romance because we're getting closer to Valentine's Day. But also, this can be for just life in general. For certain things where you are so busy going after something that you may be missing out on something even better. And that's the same thing, too. Going back to the romance part, you put all this energy chasing this person when there's probably there isn't a probably to it. There's a better person out there. There's more than one soulmate. I did a daily thought or whatever about that. It's an old episode. You have more than one soulmate. Just by math alone, doing the numbers, it is impossible for you to have just one soulmate by numbers alone on planet Earth. Not speaking of life on other planets and all that other stuff, but that's another story for another day. Don't get so caught up on one person. And for those who like to be chased, who like to be courted, eventually you need to let the person know where you stand. To say, hey, I'm not looking for this. Now, if you have already told the person that you're not really looking for a relationship, you don't want that, and the person is still pursuing you, I mean, that's on them. Again, we all have free will. You made it clear up front. But if you are open and receptive to all of this stuff and giving the impression that, yeah, one day I might say yes. Yeah, don't get too caught up in the chase. Because don't forget too, while you're wrapped up in all of that energy with that person who's chasing you or multiple people who are chasing you, that lowers your bandwidth where someone who is absolutely right for you might be overlooked because you have attached yourself to all of this other energy by other people because you're looking for validation. Throwing that out there too. So yeah. And that is my daily thought. I'm going to stop right there. KIRWKC.com. Main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.